Smith-Njigba, I mean, I don't think there's a better example of what you see is what you get. And I don't mean that as an insult at all. Jaxon Smith-Njigba let me make sure I get the height and the weight completely right here. He is not 6'4", 215 pounds. That would be Quentin Johnson. He's 6 foot tall, 195 pounds. He's a slot only player. He's lived in the slot his entire career when he was at OSU. That's probably good. He probably would have played on the outside a little bit more this year just because he was the veteran amongst the group, and they probably would have got
Garrett
him
Wilson
out there.
and Chris Olave went on one offensive rookie of the year. The other should have been the runner-up for offensive rookie of the year.
Right. And I think that
somehow wasn't there.
He would have played on the outside a little bit more, even with Marvin Harrison Jr. and what's Egbuna? Is that his name? I cannot remember the other wide receiver who was also very, very good. I'm
so tunnel vision right now on this class. When any like time a college football fan goes like, "Oh, what about this guy next year?" I'm like, I don't nothing. If it's not Marvin Harrison Jr. or like Trotter on Clemson, I don't know anything. Nothing.
So Jaxon Smith-Njigba is a super savvy, very smart wide receiver who can truly manipulate defensive backs when he's in the slot. When you present him in space with multiple ways to beat a defensive back, he leaves them guessing often. He also really understands zone coverages. He knows where linebackers are going to be. He understands where safeties are going to be, and he finds those spots. He finds those soft spots just about as well as any receiver possibly could coming from the slot position. Here's the thing, though. I just don't think he's a great athlete. You mentioned Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. Those two first-round wide receiver type of players. You pop on the sophomore tape of Jaxon Smith-Njigba, and to me, it's very clear that those two players are more athletic than Jaxon Smith-Njigba is, at least from a twitched-up perspective, certainly. From a twitched-up perspective and even a long-speed perspective. You put all three of those guys on the field at the same time. Sure, Smith-Njigba was more productive because he was getting the ball a lot more. He was finding those underneath spots. He was the guy that they used on mesh routes, all that kinds of stuff. But when it came to just sheer athleticism, he is not those other two wide receivers. Ultimately, this is a very reliable player. If you need a slot guy, if you need a target machine, if you need a guy who's going to continually get open to move the chains for you on second, third down, which what team doesn't, right? You're going to prioritize this guy and you're going to want him on your football team. I think he's a very good player. Shoot, I even have a comp on here. I don't mind the Amon-Ra St. Brown comp for him, right?
I've seen that. Yep.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown has gone off for the Detroit Lions.
It's a great player.
So there is a world that exists where, okay, maybe he's not going to test. Because let me look up. I looked it up previously, but I'm going to look up his combine profile, St. Brown's. So St. Brown's combine profile. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
5'11.5", 197 pounds. Basically what Jaxon Smith-Njigba is listed as. 40-yard dash. Oh, I think this is at his pro day. I don't think this is at the combine. But anyways, 40-yard dash, 4.61. Okay. That's probably where Njigba's going to run, I think. Vertical leap, 38.5. Could be around I think maybe Jaxon Smith-Njigba might be a little bit lower. Broad jump.
I think his jumps are going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah. 127 inches, maybe a little bit lower than that. But I 3-cone. Yeah, somewhere in the 6'9s, short shuttle, 4.26. Oh, wow. St. Brown put up 20 reps on the bench press.
He's pretty yoked.
Oh, wait. His father's a bodybuilder.
Really?
St. Brown? Yeah, you didn't know this?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think their father is like this like incredible bodybuilder. So we knew that he was going to know how to.
Dude's been lifting probably his whole life then.
You know how to bench. So anyways.
Dude. His dad was a Mr. Universe.
Wow. Out here simply calling him a bodybuilder, like
you and I.
Like you and I call ourselves when we go to the gym.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. His dad likes to go do curls. And
technically, I wasn't wrong.
John Brown. If you search John Brown, Mr. Universe or bodybuilder, so he won Mr. Universe in 1981 and 1982, and Mr. World 3 times. This dude is like.
Could he host the pod? Could he host the pod?
He would take the pod from us. Like he would be in full command of the podcast. Dude, a picture of him that comes up with Amon-Ra, and it looks like Amon-Ra's in like college at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his shirt. This is the first picture I've seen of him that he's not bodybuilding. This is like him now. He has a shirt that says "Powered by Cane Protein" from the city of Compton. Just incredible.
Great.
Legend.
So anyways. There is certainly a world in which Jaxon Smith-Njigba could once again be a major target player for an NFL team, especially if he tests similarly to Amon-Ra St. Brown. St. Brown knows how to get open. Jaxon Smith-Njigba knows how to get open. But there's also a lot of players who I think tested similarly to Amon-Ra St. Brown who did not pan out the same way that he did, right? I mean, when you look at a lot of these measurables, 28th percentile in height, 39th percentile in weight, 17th percentile in 40-yard dash, 63rd percentile in 3-cone, 42nd percentile in 20-yard shuttle.
Very short arms.
The arm length, 30 and 3/8. I don't know what Njigba's going to be, but
he'll be better than that.
Yeah, but that's like the 12th percentile. Exactly. Broad jump and vertical jump. So you like the twitch there. Those are in the 80th percentile. But all that to say, like, there's a reason why those are lower tier numbers. So I'm saying a lot of words to say I like Jaxon Smith-Njigba a lot. He's just limited athletically. If you're cool with that, if you know you could plug him in and just let him be a slot machine for your team, great. I think he'll be very productive for you. But don't expect him to be this burner, elite athlete, massive yards after the catch player, because even though he got a lot of yards after the catch at Ohio State, they're schemed up yards after the catch, right? They're mesh routes, they're digs, they're things that are completely getting him open where there's not a defender within 5-10 yards of him and he's off to the races, getting to the sideline or the end zone. So that's my view on Jaxon Smith-Njigba, who I think is a really solid football player.
I'm with you. I think he's more than solid, honestly. I do agree that he's probably not going to be this great tester. I don't know if we've gone full circle enough yet where maybe he's a better tester than everybody thinks now, because we've heard so much about him not being a good tester that you're like, this stuff really doesn't always equate very well. I have his high school recruiting profile. His vert was 34.4. So you would think he's going to be probably close to that 38. I think he gets to 37.
I think 37, 38. That's what I would guess.
He really just needs to run a 4.5, in my opinion. Listen, I guess I'll go now, and then we'll get back to... So he was number 3 for you.
Mm-hmm.
He was my number 1 wide receiver, and him and my number 2 are paired together strictly off floor. I just see no universe where Jaxon Smith-Njigba is not a good NFL player. I don't know if he'll ever be a great one. I agree with you.
Fair.
I think in this class, that can be the top guy. It really can. You go back to 2021, his production, he's a former 5-star. Yes, he was out of the slot. He's a dominant possession target. I thought he has really good short area quickness to consistently separate. Like he constantly gets open with short area quickness. There is so much polish in his game. He's a high IQ player. He understands every single area and spacing of the field. He understands how to beat zone. He understands how to use fakes and off the line of scrimmage against man. He always works back to his quarterback when the play breaks down. Mm-hmm. His adjustments to the ball in the air are better than anybody in this class. Honestly, they really are. I mean, him and Cedric Tillman, I thought were the best adjusters and my number 2. And I thought the build-up speed was enough. It's enough where he can play at the NFL level. And I think he's just so much better mentally and from a refinement standpoint than a lot of other guys that there's just no way he's not a good NFL wide receiver, even if that's a number 2 and a possession number 2. Mm-hmm. But not every class has this bona fide, guaranteed to be this number 1 freak show athlete. And I'm just comfortable making Smith-Njigba my number 1 because of all of those things. And it goes hand in hand with the same statement about my number 2.
He has a super high floor. There's no doubt about it. Like I started the conversation with.
Right away.
Yeah. This is what you see is what you get, and in the best way for a wide receiver.